And more breaking news, our other major story today, the two numbers that are going to pop up on the side of your screen, both passing grim milestones this afternoon. The death toll from COVID-19 in the U.S. just passed 371,000 Americans. The number of confirmed cases, more than 22 million. Since the beginning of 2021, so just 9 days ago, the U.S. has recorded more than 2 million new cases and 24,000 deaths. It's clear the vaccinations can't come soon enough, but they aren't coming as quickly as originally promised. According to the latest update from the CDC, just 6.7 million COVID-19 vaccinations have been administered. And that has prompted the incoming Biden administration to change the COVID-19 vaccine strategy. So instead of holding back some doses to ensure second doses of the vaccines are available, President-elect Biden will aim to release every available dose of this vaccine when he takes office. With us now is Dr. Peter Hotez, professor and dean of tropical medicine at Baylor College of Medicine. Doctor, what is your reaction to this change in strategy by the incoming Biden administration? Do you agree with it?
Well, I'm certainly all for increasing the number of Americans who get vaccinated. After all, we've failed on every other aspect to attempt to enact COVID-19 control measures. This is all we have left, is to vaccinate our way through this. So we need to increase the number of Americans who get vaccinated. The problem is, we have to remember that a single dose of either the Pfizer vaccine or the Moderna mRNA vaccine doesn't do very much. It does not induce much in the way of virus-neutralizing antibodies, which is how all of these vaccines work. Or what really happens in some individuals, it works, in others, you don't get much of a response at all. So as long as it's recognized that we absolutely have to follow up that first dose with the second dose, it's okay. I'm just worried people may get the wrong message saying, hey, it's okay to walk around with just a single dose, because that's not the case.
And what if there aren't enough doses for that second round? What if production can't keep up and someone has to wait more than the recommended amount of time? Would they then have to start their vaccination regimen over, or how does that work?
Well, there's not a lot of data beyond the 3 and 4 week period for each of those vaccines. So if it's not too much longer, then they can go ahead and get the second dose. If they have to wait much beyond that, then you may have to restart the whole vaccination process again. But it's especially important for people to know that once they get that first dose, they are still vulnerable to COVID-19, and they have to operate on the assumption that they're still extremely vulnerable.
There's still a lot of questioning about, why it's taking so long to get the available doses administered into people's arms. Should the incoming Biden administration just do away with the priority groups and open up the vaccine to everyone who wants it right now?
Well, right now, what we have to do is it's all hands on deck at vaccinating the American people and reduce every barrier possible. So I think the first thing we have to do is to open up more vaccination sites and vaccination hubs. It's the pharmacy chains and others are just not adequate to do the full job of vaccinating 2 to 3 million Americans a day, which is where we have to get to get the 3/4 of the population vaccinated by the end of the summer. So that's one, possibly liberalizing those restrictions, because people are confused about it. They're too fussy in many places. So eventually, and pretty soon, we have to open it up to anyone who wants to get vaccinated should be able to get vaccinated without a lot of paperwork or fuss. And then third, we're going to have to get more vaccines on the table. We're not going to be able to do this with the 2 mRNA vaccines alone. That was never the intention. The mRNA vaccines are the first to get out, but we have to get those 2 adenovirus vaccines up. We have to get the particle vaccines up. We have a recombinant protein vaccine up. We've got to get all those on the table if we're really going to rapidly accelerate. And we're just doing this at too slow a pace at this point.
We are seeing skyrocketing numbers in daily cases. We're seeing deaths still going up, with more than 4,000 Americans reported dead in one day this week. Hospitalizations are still breaking records, and we're just over 2 weeks past Christmas. So, based on what we've learned, it sounds like we could still see more surges from the holidays. Where is the ceiling?
Anna, we're in a race against death right now, and that's why we have to accelerate our vaccine program. As I've mentioned, we've failed to implement any kind of COVID-19 containment strategy. The White House, and this current White House, has left us no other alternative at this point but to vaccinate our way out of it, pretty much. And that's where we have to put the emphasis. Otherwise, the deaths will continue to accelerate. We're closing in on 400,000 deaths now, which is the number number of American GIs we lost in World War II.
That is horrific. Dr. Peter Hotez, thank you for staying with us throughout this entire coronavirus journey. Appreciate it.